Hey guys, I hope that you're all doing really well today. Yeah, I just finished a really difficult meditation where there's just like a lot of, I want to say fear, but just like really unconscious energies coming up from my lower chakras, more like the solar plexus and the hara or the sacral. And yeah, I just felt like there's so much unconscious resistance in my body to, first of all, to those energies in general. And it's like those energies are just having unconscious resistance to being where I'm at. Even though consciously I can recognize, like, hey, I'm totally safe. I can relax here. I can find rest here. There's these unconscious parts of me deep in the belly that are just clenching and very contracted. And so when I was meditating, I noticed how initially I was able to open to these parts and to really surrender to them and to let that kind of energy flow, to let them be clenched. But as the meditation went on, I found myself really resisting the clench, really resisting those parts. I was going off into fantasies, going off into fantasy is another kind of, it's a flight mechanism. There were a lot of sexual fantasies coming up. And I noticed that when these kind of traumas are surfacing, I've especially noticed this in the past, these are the kind of energies that I really want to escape. These are the energies that have, like I can just see through my history, have caused me to act from a place of desperation, and I need something right now to help me feel better because these sensations are just too much. And in that way I would create a lot of karma, create a lot of pain for myself and others. Just to create more, sometimes we tend to create more suffering because we just don't know how to be with the pain that's in our body. So that's what, the pain that's in our body when it's coming up from these deeper areas, it's so separate from love. It can just kind of like scare the psyche. And so the psyche will go off into like addiction. It will go off into like really seeking other people. We'll go off and say, oh, I really need to have sex right now. So much of the reason we go off into those things is because we just aren't able to be with the pain that's in our body. It feels like too much. And that's why like finding a good somatic healer is really helpful, or like communities where you can do this work in the presence of others. That's why I really like spiritual retreats, because there's just like more presence for these parts of us that are so hurt and so wounded. And, even last night I was having really intense dreams that were manifesting from these wounded parts. When I was reviewing the dreams this morning, I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, it makes sense I was having that dream because this part of me had these kind of experiences. And one of the dreams, I was being chased and I was trapped. And it's like these parts have felt like that. They felt suffocated. They felt terrorized. They felt, they're just terrified. They're just so scared. And yeah, that was my meditation. I just noticing how initially I was able to really open to these parts and surrender into them and hold space for them and just really be with them from this tender, loving place. But how the meditation went on, I found myself just kind of, like I said, trying to escape these parts through fantasy. Then I was starting to resist them. I was starting to get frustrated, like, gosh, when is this going to transform? When is this sensation going to kind of alchemize? And of course, that just causes that place in my body to clench even more. And so then I found myself just like being in the freeze state, just like a lot of energy stuck. And so I'm just making a real video here of like working with these parts and what it can look like sometimes, and noticing how it took me to my edge a bit this morning of how much space I had for it, for this pain, for this fear, and realizing, oh wow, I really kind of reached my capacity with it. And then sensing like the higher intelligence of, well, that's exactly why I'm here. I'm here so that these parts can come up, and so that I can expand my capacity to be with them in unconditional love, in an unconditional loving way. I'm here to see my own limits of when I start holding space for them with an agenda, with, will you just hurry up and change? Will you just hurry up and, heal so that I can feel better? And I'm noticing that the divine has taken me to this location, because I'm realizing in order for me to be here, I'm going to have to live from a deeper dimension of surrender than I've ever lived at before. A deeper dimension of surrender than I was living at before I came here. It's like that's what's going to be required for me to continue to abide in peace. Is that I might be with sensations that I would prefer not to be feeling the entire time I'm here. But can that be okay? Can I, still abide in peace, even though that there will probably be sensations and unconscious gripping and contractions going on, perhaps every moment I'm here? I don't know. And maybe it'll get worse, maybe it'll get more intense. It's like we don't know these things, but, can I stay open? Can I stay soft? And can I continue to bring tenderness to all of these places within my body that are just feeling afraid? They're just afraid, All these places in my body that are constricted, can I continue to be with them in an unconditionally loving way? Can I let go of the need to feel better and continue just to abide in truth? Because if we're just a slave to I want to feel better, well, we're just going to act, kind of on that whim in every moment. And we're just going to always be trying to, like I said, we're going to be chasing things to feel better. We're going to be always continually be trying to change our circumstances. And we're just going to be enslaved in that way. We're not going to be free. We're not going to be free to continue to abide in truth. And at a certain point on the path, abiding in truth becomes the most important thing. And how you feel becomes a secondary thing. Because, truth has nothing to do with feeling, with how you feel. I want to say it different. Like Craig says it perfect. It's like truth has nothing to do with feelings. It's like, yeah, sometimes we're abiding in truth, and the truth is going to take us into the darkest parts of ourselves, into the most repressed parts of ourselves. And I noticed in today's meditation, I was tempted to continue to repress those parts. Like, oh my gosh, this is just too much. And I noticed I was just like I was doing this to these parts. I was like kind of pushing them away because I was going into fantasy. I was going into resistance. And this isn't a thing to say like, don't do whatever you can to make yourself feel better. Of course, do your yoga, meditate, take great care of yourself. I'm just saying that a lot of times, all the time, if this awakening path is true and we're actually moving towards enlightenment, this path, the truth is going to take us through trials and tribulations to really expose our shadow to ourselves, to our consciousness, so that it can be integrated, so that we can learn to just feel safe regardless of what's happening, right? Yeah, of course, if there's a tiger chasing us, or if we're encountering abuse or the potential of violence, yeah, that's when the fight or flight should be triggered. That means it's working really well, and that's the whole point of it. But other than that, if there's not immediate danger, you know, how nice will it be to just be able to feel safe, regardless of, you know, things that might be a little bit triggering or uncomfortable or unpleasant. I was realizing in today's meditation, it's like, there's this part of me that really wants to be here on earth. Like, can I just be here on earth and feel safe? And even if I'm not feeling safe, can I still continue to choose to be at peace, to be open to experiencing difficult sensations? It's like earth is a tough place to be for a lot of us. We come from very high vibration star systems. We descended from heaven. So earth can be really challenging because there's the duality, there's the darkness, there's the density. And so I'm on this journey of learning to be free, even in a denser experience, even within dense emotions and sensations. I'm learning that these two are the divine. And so yeah, that's the experience I'm having, just keeping it real. In a challenge, in sort of an initiation. It's like, I want to be free. I want to live in the truth. I want to continue opening to what is. And not always trying to change things so that I can be okay, right? Always trying to change things out here, whether it's getting the right woman or finding just the right environment where nothing's gonna, disturb me or whatever it is, or I need this to feel better. It's like, I just want to be in this place where I'm always abiding in peace, where I'm always feeling safe, I'm always feeling held by the Divine Mother. And it's like, that's what it takes, this is cultivating for me a deeper connection to God, because it's truly that connection to God, the connection to the Divine Mother, or Jesus, or your higher self, or the universe, or the one, whatever word really fits for you. It's like that connection is what tends to bring about this sense of feeling at peace, this sense of feeling deeply held and safe, even if there's uncomfortable feelings and if you're in an uncomfortable environment. It's like that connection to God is what really gives you that deeper sense of everything's okay. So that's another thing that I feel like I've been taken here to cultivate. It's like that deeper connection to God. I think that's the video for today. Thanks for being here. If you'd like to support this journey with a donation, they are very much appreciated. I thank you deeply for your contributions in that way. If you'd like to make a donation, there is a link in the description box. There's also some offerings on the Patreon platform, and I am doing one-on-one sessions right now as well. You'll find links for those offerings in the description box underneath the video. So sending you all so much love. Thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.